Okay. Football, buddy. Football, buddy.
Explore the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end January 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Attorney Tom McIntyre.
Life. It may knock you down, but you don't have to say that way. I'm Tom McIntyre. I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm here to help you. Give us a call, and we'll send you a copy of my free book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's an interesting read, and it'll explain bankruptcy to you like no other book does. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Call Thomas E. McIntyre and Associates at 304-232-8600. Allow us to help put you back on the road to financial success.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
More live and local programming than anyone else in the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog returns in moments.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies with a high near 32. The overnight low of 22 under partly cloudy skies. Going for your Friday, temperatures should climb into the low to mid-20s under mostly cloudy conditions. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Who's ready to have some fun?
Guess what it is today? Get excited about it!
Today is National Chocolate Cake Day.
Where's that chocolate cake?
Love morning cake.
We brought a chocolate cake. It's National Chocolate Cake Day today.
Chocolate is for cake.
It's National Chocolate Cake Day. National Chocolate Cake Day today.
Hey, give me a slice.
Showtime!
Conversations you care about with people you know. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe on WKKX and WVLY.
Cold morning this morning, and it's not getting a lot warmer yet. It will warm up during the day. 6 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. There is a feels-like temperature of -4. It feels like it's 4 degrees below zero at the airport. Excuse me, 2 degrees here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and it feels like 2, so there's not much wind blowing around out there here at the home studios. And it's 3 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling. in the heart of the Ohio Valley, and that feels like 0 in downtown Wheeling. So it is a cold morning with the temperatures in the single digits. Feels like 0 or below. We got a note from our friends in Dillonvale, said it was -9 in Dillonvale. I think Aaron said earlier we had a -12 reading someplace. So definitely a cold morning. It will warm up, 32, the predicted high, a little below normal, but a lot warmer than we've had the last few days. So looking for a 32-degree high. We will see some snow late afternoon, early evening, probably a little accumulation, but not a whole lot. That's what our forecast is for. Coming up in a minute, we'll talk about the apparent resignation of Stephen Breyer and what will President Biden do in terms of replacing him on the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll also have a look at some COVID numbers here in West Virginia, where the hospitalization numbers reached an all-time high yesterday. Also want to get to some mask debates that are going on around the country. There's actually a mask debate going on in West Virginia as well, where the legislature is trying to eliminate the ability of schools to have mask mandates. In Virginia, it's a huge issue, this mask mandate business. A couple of school boards in Loudoun County, Virginia, were basically overrun by parents this week. And out on the West Coast, there was a guy who was really pushing himself on, very aggressive, belligerent guy, pushing himself on kids on the issue of masks. So we'll get into all of that coming up a little bit later on. Plus, I want to get to the mystery space signal, if I have time to get into that. And it'll be a spoiler alert. If you're a Jeopardy follower, I've got a story about Jeopardy I want to get to. But let's talk first about the U.S. Supreme Court. Yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, one of 3 members, the liberal wing of the court, said he's going to be retiring. Probably a joint event at the White House with President Biden, maybe today. That could even be scheduled. I haven't seen the schedule, but it's possible. A formal announcement could come today. Breyer's 83. He was appointed by Bill Clinton back in 1994 and is expected to step down this summer. This will give Biden a chance to appoint a justice to the Supreme Court, and he probably should be able to get it through. We all know the troubles that have occurred in recent Supreme Court nominations, but I think Biden is likely to be able to get his nominee through. But I wanted to get sort of the whole lay of the land of this, so I asked WVU political science professor John Kilwine to join us. John, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Howard.
This is not a surprise in that we expected Breyer at some point to be stepping down. I don't know that anybody saw it coming yesterday or today, but it's not a total surprise, right?
Not a total surprise, but he was indicating that maybe he might stick it out, and I think people feared what would happen, what had happened with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that you're healthy at one point and you're not. But it's not a complete surprise. But I was a little bit interested. It confirmed something that I wasn't sure was going to happen.
And what does it mean? It doesn't. Well, what does it mean? Let me just leave it a period sentence there. What does it mean, the fact that he's retiring now, resigning?
Well, I mean, a qualified justice is leaving the court. He was, he had good service, to the country. But in terms of the bottom line, and you raised the point in this crazy political season we've been through for the last 2 or 3 or 6 or how many years you want to go back. It's highly likely he's going to get confirmed, but you never know until it's done. But in answer to your question, overall, it's not going to have any impact. The court is 6-3, firmly conservative, and it'll just stay 6-3, firmly conservative. One of the liberal members of the court will just be a lot younger than Justice Breyer is.
Yeah, so the sort of balance of power, if that's the phrase you want to use, doesn't really change much. And Biden should, and correct me if I'm wrong, he should not have a lot of problems getting his nominee through. There might be a lot of Sturm und Drang, but he will probably shouldn't have any trouble getting through. The Supreme Court is a filibuster-free vote, correct? So all he needs is a majority, which he will probably have, even though he's had some obstreperous members of his party on other issues, notably Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. I would think they would probably be, absent some horrible scandal popping up, reliable votes for a Biden nominee. So likely he gets his choice, right?
I agree with everything you said, Howard. The only thing that it's a minimal concern, but the only thing is consider how the response that Manchin and Sinema got in the last month, and so to the point where Sinema has been or is likely to be censured by her own party in Arizona. So I agree with you 99.9%. I just don't know. I mean, those two have been such wild cards that who knows? But yeah, I think it's highly likely.
Well, and depending on the nominee he picks, I know at least one of the nominees whose names have been bandied about publicly was confirmed to a lower federal court not too long ago and had a lot of Republican support. So it's conceivable that depending on who the nominee is, even a few Republicans could conceivably cross the aisle to vote for the nominee. So again, if I was a bet, if our sponsor FanDuel made me place a bet, I think I would bet that he gets whatever nominee he wants. I won't say without any trouble, but he gets whatever nominee he wants. John,
well, if I could add one thing, I think he and he ran on I'm Joe Biden. I have a lot of experience, and he does, and so I do think one thing is for sure is there are not going to be any mistakes in terms of what the White House can handle. So, you hit the nail on the head. Some of the people who he's thinking about have been confirmed. And in terms of Ketanji Brown, she had three Republicans who voted for her. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And what that means is you're not going to have any. I don't think you're going to have any picks from left field that might, please the left base of the party or just wow, wouldn't that be a fantastic idea? I don't think any of those things are going to come through. They're going to be people who are going to be relatively short things, and there aren't going to be any mistakes. I mean, one of the things that presidents have learned is don't make unforced errors, and so they're going to truly vet everybody before they go. Anybody who goes up before the Senate.
All of the recent Supreme Court nominations and appointments and confirmations have had some controversy assigned to them, but they all were under the watchful eye of Mitch McConnell as the Senate Majority Leader, prohibiting Merrick Garland from getting even a vote or even a hearing, if I remember correctly. So prohibiting Merrick Garland, then getting the three Trump nominees shepherded through. Some controversy in a couple of them. Amy Barrett moved through very quickly. But McConnell doesn't have the power to do much other than make some noises this time around, correct?
Correct. I mean, if there were anything he could do, believe me, he would. But and I also think the stakes are much lower this time. I mean, if this were a court that were still 5-4, or flip it around and 5 conservatives and 4 liberals, and one of the conservatives were quitting, there would be some storm and drang, and I think it would really come to they would pull out all the stops. Mitch McConnell and his colleagues would pull out all the stops to come up with something. That doesn't necessarily mean they would succeed, but this is a 6-3. I just don't 6-3 court. I don't see. Other than saying whoever gets picked, I'm sure they're going to say, well, this person's too liberal, or this person's too this or too that, and indicating to their base that if they had their druthers, they would have somebody else. But I don't see a lot of battle in this necessary because the court is still firmly in control of the conservatives.
I've been reading a couple of different perspectives on this over the last 24 hours. Some suggest that the Republicans should really put up a fight, even though they can't win a fight, just to make the case, just to show, boy, we're not going to let this guy ram through things. Others have suggested, as you said, John, it's not worth the fight. It's not a swing vote. It's replacing a minority liberal justice with another liberal justice, still going to be in the minority. So maybe the Republicans should just keep their powder dry and let it go. I don't know if I'm a Republican, which of those makes the most sense to me, but I certainly see both sides of that argument.
I see both. I mean, I see that what I see is that you're probably going to hear a lot of chatter, both in the Senate and in, you know, the different cable sources from Republicans saying, you know, this is problematic. This person is, you know, this person is too liberal. This person doesn't have the right kind of experience. This, you know, and so on. But that really what to me the only interesting part of the equation is what will the two outlier Democrats do, and will people like Murkowski and others come over from the Republicans? That really is what it all comes down to, because it's a vote. And so I don't see McConnell being able to control Murkowski. I don't see and I can't remember her name now in Maine. And so I don't see him being able to control those votes if they want to switch over. But I do think, you know, that you have to play to your base. You have to raise campaign funds. And so yeah, people are probably gonna squawk about the person who's picked. But there's really nothing that he has. It totally surprises me. There's nothing that he has that he can block this.
Well, Biden had promised, air quotes, I guess, promised a black female would be a Supreme Court nominee. It seems from the public speculation so far, that's the way he's going to go. Is that the way you're reading it?
Yeah, it seems that way to me. Yeah.
And I'm
which
sure.
I apologize, Howard, but it makes sense because, you know, you think about it. We're heading in for the Democrats. We're heading into a tough campaign season, and you know, and African American votes have been critical to the Democratic, you know, to the Democrats' chances, and you know, again, because of those two outlier senators, because of the razor thin, you know, majority, if you call it that, in the Senate, and the inability to pass, you know, voting rights acts, which I think are critical, but there's just you didn't have the numbers. And so Biden got a lot of blame for, you know, Build Back Better and the voting rights acts and you know, this kind of complaint, well, what's the use? What's the benefit? Well, this is going to be a direct benefit to one significant portion of the Democratic Party, and that is that he kept his promise, you know, and a legitimate promise, I would argue, to put a black woman on the bench. So I think it's a big deal in terms of that.
I don't know enough about the nominees whose names have been bandied about publicly in the last 24 hours, but it seems as if most of them have judicial pedigrees, so it's not bringing a novice on where they could be attacked for. And if I'm wrong at any of these points, correct me, John. So if he uses any of the names that have been bandied about, it's going to be hard to say, well, they don't have enough experience, because they are experienced. Several of the names have already had Senate confirmation, including some Republican votes, as you pointed out earlier. So it's going to be tough to throw some of the traditional charges out at them. It's going to have to come down to probably hearing debates on policy matters, I guess. And again, do the Republicans want to fight that fight now, or just keep their powder dry and say it's fine? You can keep your minority on the court, and we still have the majority.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're three good candidates. I mean, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's on the D.C. circuit. That's the top AAA club before you get to the Supreme Court. Leandra Kruger, she's a California Supreme Court justice, and J. Michelle Childs, she's a district court judge in South Carolina, but she's already in the docket to be promoted to that D.C. circuit, which again is that top intermediate appellate court of the system, where you really do groom people to go to the Supreme Court. So there is no way their pedigrees are top notch. There's no way they can be attacked. I mean, they're equal or better to Coney Barrett and to Kavanaugh and to Gorsuch and others. And so you can't attack them on that. That doesn't mean politicians won't attack people and find some opinion here or some article there to bring up at the hearings. But the thing about Brown and Childs, they've both been really vetted because they've gone through the Senate confirmation hearings to get onto the bench. Kruger, she went through confirmation hearings to be an assistant solicitor general, and so she's been vetted. I would, if I were going to go to your sponsor, FanDuel, I would probably not bet on her because, or not bet as much money on her because, she's coming from the California Supreme Court and she hasn't gone through that kind of crucible of Senate confirmation, in terms of getting to the bench. So she, to me, seems like an outlier, whereas the other two, Ketanji Brown had been mentioned before, and so I think that and they surprise us all the time. But it gets back to my original point. I don't think they want to have any unforced errors where they pick somebody who looks really interesting but hasn't been completely vetted.
Obviously, they have been vetted. Several of them have been vetted previously. We all know that the White House probably has done or will be doing a more in-depth vetting now. But I also, John, assume, and I think you would concur, that there are going to be a lot of Republican think tanks and Republican politicos that are going to be digging anywhere they can to maybe hope they can find something that hasn't come to light just yet.
Absolutely. Just like liberal think tanks and interest groups did the same thing, which gets to a more basic point, and that is that no American should believe that the court is not a political institution and the justices are not political actors. They are. And the Republicans have learned this lesson quite well, and with some really hardball politics, shifted the court to a strong majority, 6-3. And so, you're absolutely right. Which again goes back to my point that the two judges who currently sit on the federal bench, they've been examined thoroughly. Now, I don't know. There may be something out there, but my guess is also, as much as your opponents are going to search, the people within the White House have done some extensive searching. Let's not kid ourselves. They were prepared for this, and the research has been done. So the fact that these names are getting floated probably indicates that there's been a lot of examination as to what their records could. Any surprises that could be in their records.
I need to get your take on this next item. It doesn't make sense to me for a lot of reasons, but President Biden says he wants a black female, someone with experience, and so the name Kamala Harris has been popping up in some commentaries over the last 24 hours. I don't see that as a real option, but, is that something that's out there?
Yeah, people are talking about Michelle Obama. They're talking about Kamala Harris. They're talking about Barack Obama. Any of those, but that's just kind of silly stuff at this point because, number one, I don't think Vice President Harris wants this. I think she sees the possibility of being president, and I think people would choose that in a heartbeat. But you just wouldn't do that because just think of the mess that potentially could create. It would raise all these issues about who's going to be appointed vice president. It would raise issues. She was never confirmed by the Senate for anything. She certainly has a track record that when she was running for president offended conservatives and offended liberals. She had a pretty controversial position on the death penalty, which offended people from the left of her party, and she certainly had positions that offended Republicans. They're easily offended by Democrats, and so why would you do that other than trying to be so crazy that hey, look at this shocker, look at us, and I just don't see that happening.
Well, she would be a controversial figure, so it would not be an easy confirmation because that would create, she herself would be controversial and certainly would bring up a lot of argument. I don't think she could, since we're looking at a divided Senate, I don't think she could sit as the deciding vote on herself were she to be the nominee. I don't think. Maybe she could. I don't know. So
that's an
it
excellent
doesn't
point,
make
and
any
we'd
sense.
have to look up. Yeah, we'd have to look up. Yeah, that's an excellent point. I hadn't even thought about that, Howard. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it makes sense for a wide variety of reasons, but I wanted to throw it out. John, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a question, having nothing to the Supreme Court, but you follow Washington politics, you've mentioned Joe Manchin and so on, and if you don't want to comment or haven't thought about it, what do you make of the state Democratic Party this week choosing to endorse the Build Back Better bill when the titular head of their party, Joe Manchin, has said he's not on board with it? That struck me as a weird thing for the Democratic Party to do. And if you don't want to comment, I didn't ask you to come on for that, so you don't have to, but I just found that weird the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, he's definitely not. I don't think he's completely in tune with the party in terms of Build Back Better and in terms of a lot of the substantive things that are included in it. And so that doesn't surprise me. I mean, one of the things, he's in his Manchin moment and I'm in my Manchin moment because all the national folks want to talk to somebody about him because he's in the forefront. But he's clearly got a tough road ahead of him in terms of the next election, and he needs all the support he can get from Democrats. And I think that he's certainly alienated a significant portion of the Democratic Party. Just heard the day that about the demise of the new child tax credit, and there's a lot of those things in the Build Back Better that certainly would have helped his constituents. So it doesn't surprise me that the party would be concerned about that and would and it's certainly not what Sinema, the response she got from her party in Arizona where she was censured. But it doesn't surprise me that the Democratic Party would support Build Back Better because that's going to benefit West Virginians, a significant number of West Virginians. It's going to benefit the Democratic president. It's going to benefit maintaining the Democratic majority in the House and the Senate. So no, that doesn't shock me. And it's not a significant rebuke. I think everybody knew that he was not completely aligned with the party or in Washington and probably not in West Virginia.
I know it's inside baseball, or as my friend Hobby Kircher would say, inside the Beltway if we had a Beltway. It just, to me, the state Democratic Party has been perceived almost to be a tool of Joe Manchin's, and for the party to then take a stance that is not the same as Manchin himself, it struck me as interesting. That's all. I just found it. It's not a big deal. It's just I find that interesting that they would go on record with that. But everything about Joe Manchin has been surprising me lately. So. John, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us. I always enjoy talking to you. You always give me some good perspective, and we'll be talking again probably soon. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks for having me, Howard. See you.
John Kilwine is an assistant professor of political science at WVU. He is a frequent commentator for us here on the Watchdog Morning Show, and offered some thoughts here on the Stephen Breyer decision. Not officially announced, but unofficially through various reports came out yesterday. Breyer's going to resign. Now, it's interesting. He's timing his resignation. He will not resign officially until a new Supreme Court justice is confirmed. So he wants to make sure that they got somebody in there that's acceptable before he officially pulls the pin. But the process, I'm sure, will get underway today, and we'll hear more about it coming up from ABC at the top of the hour. And tomorrow on the show, we're going to talk a bit about this Democratic Party vote earlier this week. We talked to Brad McElhenney about it yesterday. The state Democratic Party voted to endorse the Build Back Better bill this week and encouraged all members of the congressional delegation to vote for Build Back Better. Now, obviously, three of the members our three congressional members are Republicans, but Manchin and Shelley Moore Capito is Republican. Manchin, of course, is the outlying Democrat, and Manchin has said he's not in support of Build Back Better as it stands now. I find it interesting that the party, which is theoretically under the thumb of Joe Manchin, takes a stance against a position that Manchin has taken. Not a strong one. They didn't, spit in his face or anything. They didn't do the Kirsten Sinema, where her own party in Arizona literally censured her. But it's interesting the way that's playing out. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to Mike Pushkin. Mike is a delegate from Kanawha County and has just been elected as vice chair of the West Virginia Democratic Party. And we'll talk a bit about that vote and why did it happen, and is the party changing in some way? Are they getting a little more, are they beginning to cut some of the chains to Joe Manchin? I'm not sure that's correct. I'm just going to talk to Mike about that tomorrow. So a little look down the road, what we have coming up. 9:36, 24 till the hour. It's the Watchdog Morning Show. It's time to check headlines for Metro News.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence.
If we'll do COVID when we come back. Yep, you can do that. Thank you. So I guess they haven't figured out how to warm things up yet. Oh, God. I noticed it looked like they had done some work on the door frames or something yesterday. It looked like there's a little bit of work being done there. Okay, good. We could go for a year. In fact, now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't a year before it's done. Oh, that's not even, I wouldn't even take the bet. I mean, that's a fool's bet, because you're absolutely, there's a guarantee of that. Yep, they'll be in their new studio, in their new set long before we. They win?
Oh, wow.
If you struggle with a problem with gambling, call 1-800-589-9966 for free confidential support. Do you have a loved one who struggles with a problem with gambling? This 24/7 helpline also provides resources on how to support a loved one who may need help. Call 1-800-589-9966 or visit beforeyoubet.org.
Who are the toughest men and women in the Ohio Valley? It's the 41st Annual Budweiser Tough Man Contest, co-sponsored by WTOV9, Wheeling, Ohio County CVB, Thomas Auto Centers, The World Gym, Jill's Gentlemen's Club, A Class Act, and ICR Equipment Rental Sales and Supply. Coming February 18th and 19th to Wheeling's West Banco Arena. See up to 100 men and women slug it out for thousands in prize money. Tickets are available at the West Banco Arena box office or online at westbancoarena.com. Or to charge by phone, call 800-514-3849. It's the 41st Annual Budweiser Tough Man Contest. Coming February 18th and 19th to Wheeling's West Banco Arena. And if you're planning to stay in Wheeling on the Tough Man weekend, the Wheeling, Ohio County CVB is offering special hotel rates for Tough Man fighters, ring girls, and fans. For details, go to WVToughman.com. That's WVToughman.com.
Joe Manchin delivered on a bipartisan infrastructure plan to expand statewide high-speed internet, repair our roads and bridges, and create thousands of West Virginia jobs. Now Joe's working to responsibly put money in our pockets to fight inflation without busting the budget. Manchin's compromise plan would cut taxes for working people, create universal pre-kindergarten, cut health care costs, deliver millions to rebuild rural towns across our state, and create even more good-paying jobs for West Virginia. All paid for by millionaires and big corporations with no new taxes for us, while the rich and powerful finally pay their fair share. Joe Manchin, making Washington spend wisely, and as always, putting West Virginia first. Paid for by West Virginia Strong to encourage Senator Manchin to continue to negotiate the best deal for our state.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., join the voice of the Mountaineers, Tony Caridi, on The Watchdog. Tony informs and entertains WVU fans with the latest Mountaineer sports news. If it happens in the world of gold and blue, Tony knows about it and shares it with you. Sportsline, weeknights at 6 on The Watchdog. You're never more than 30 minutes away from local and regional news with ABC News every hour. Plus coverage from Ohio, West Virginia, and WTRF-TV at 5:30 here on The Watchdog.
Broadcasting from the Ohio Valley, talking about the Ohio Valley. We're live and local. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
COVID-19 update.
Time to talk about COVID here on the Watchdog Morning Show. You have been hearing reports from TV7 and from Metro News about the COVID-19 hospitalization rates in West Virginia. The Mountain State is on the edge of going past its highest number of COVID-19 hospitalizations since the pandemic began. 1,043 hospitalizations of people with COVID-19 yesterday, the highest level of hospitalizations prior to that was 1,012. So we have now gone to the highest level of people with COVID in the hospital that we've had during the entire pandemic. Dr. Clay Morris says we're very, very worried that our hospital numbers are not even close to peaking yet. So we're looking for more and more folks to perhaps go into the hospital. Hospitals, of course, because of increased COVID cases and shortages of staff because of people getting COVID and other reasons, looking to find ways to alleviate the tension, the pressure, and the long hours on their own staff. The Washington National Guard has been dispatched to many hospitals. Yesterday, the National Guard stepped into WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital to help out with the pandemic. Governor Justice issued that help earlier this week, and they began at WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital yesterday. This is not politics, said Doug Harrison, the CEO. You're going to see firsthand this is real. Every single emergency room filled, over 40 people in the waiting room. It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting for our staff to work through this every single day. Harrison said just last week, over 50 Wheeling Hospital employees were out sick with COVID. National Guard members are also beginning to take stance at WVU Medicine Glendale as well. So the National Guard is on duty there. A study finds that a lot of people who tested positive for the Omicron variant say they previously tested positive for COVID-19. 2/3 of the people who catch the Omicron variant say they already had COVID. Now, the researchers from the Imperial College of London that reported this yesterday said there's just not enough data to make a conclusive decision yet, but they clearly say the Omicron variant is very good at dodging the immune system. So previous COVID infections don't necessarily keep you from getting the Omicron variant. The mass debates are heating up like crazy. In West Virginia, of course, the legislature is moving through a bill that would eliminate the ability of local school districts to put a mask mandate into effect. Some of the Ohio County School Board members just this week said they hope the bill is passed because they want the state to stop the ability of the local boards to have mask mandates. I am still a firm believer that the government closest to the people is the government that understands what's needed best. The legislators in Charleston have not the foggiest idea what's happening on the ground in Ohio County or Marshall County or Raleigh County or Berkeley County. It's not up to them, should not be up to them to decide whether mask mandates are necessary or not. But the mask issue is brewing in West Virginia and all across the country. Out in the Los Angeles area yesterday, a story that you may have seen on CBS News, a guy, big, belligerent, angry guy, has been harassing kids. Now, it's one thing to go to school board meetings and yell at elected school board officials. That's bad. That's wrong. But that's one. To harass kids is just ridiculous. I had a video clip, and I didn't think to give it to Biff to play because it's just, when you hear it, you can just tell this is just some big, belligerent, angry, doesn't know what he's talking about kind of guy. He typically wears a shirt that says, "Your mask makes you look stupid." And he's been harassing kids at this school for over a month. Some of the parents say he's been following the middle and elementary school students, harassing them. He was caught on video just spewing out an anti-mask tirade near a middle school in that area. He's heard shouting obscenities with earshots of the kids. He calls the mask mandate child abuse. One parent said she called the cops. Well, one parent confronted this guy, said he was getting 3 to 5 inches away, coughing in their faces. Cops were called. When a deputy arrived at the scene, The deputy apparently said, I don't know what happened here. I don't know. I can't do anything. And then one of the women involved, one of the parents said that the deputy lectured the kids about freedom of speech instead of taking the names and writing an incident report. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies say that they will get into this more now. But, you know, it's bad enough. Down in Virginia, Loudoun County in particular, a lot of parents have really gone to the school board and have begun to raise a ruckus. We've had some school board issues raised here in Ohio County, for example, although it hasn't been this kind of belligerence. But in Virginia, where Governor Youngkin had prohibited mask mandates, it's getting really, really nasty. And I'm not going to have time to get into all of this Loudoun County stuff that I had prepared for you here. Although some of the stuff one parent said, breath is life. This goes against the core of my beliefs to mask up my, breath is life? Well, of course it is, but life is life. I need to allow them to choose to breathe fresh air the way God intended. You know, I got to tell you, I've never heard a kid complain about wearing masks, other than the ones that go on television when clearly their parents have prompted them to do it. It's just, but the point I wanted to make was, it's bad enough to go to a school board meeting and yell and scream at elected officials. It's something else for this guy to harass middle school kids, call them names, swear at them, tell them they're going to die because they are wearing a mask. It's just crazy. That's just crazy. All right, deep breath. Stop it, Howard. Calm down. Let's go over to the Big 7, WTRF TV, and see what Bob Westphal has for us today. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, Howard. Take your meds, man.
Yeah, you're right. Honey, can you get me an Ambien, please?
Anyway, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Some days it just gets under my skin. Most days I try to just say this is the world we live in, Bob, but some days it gets under my skin. But
Absolutely.
Here we go.
I understand.
Anything exciting? Give me something good to talk about.
Oh, something good to talk about.
I'm guessing nothing good. Something interesting to talk about.
We're going to talk to Wintersville Fire Department. They recently received a Marks grant. This is a way of communicating with other law enforcement within the area. You remember after 9/11, during 9/11, there were so many different radio frequencies and things like that. Fire, police, emergency services couldn't communicate, so they created the Marks system. Wintersville just got a grant from Governor DeWine, so we're going to go up talk to them, see what this is and how it works. So a little bit of public safety. That's a good story.
That's a good story.
Nice story another story out of Steubenville. Holy Name Cathedral was torn down recently. They uncovered a time capsule within the building, within the the cornerstone. Colin Roos went up yesterday. He's going to put together a story today on what was found in that time capsule. So we're going to find out what that is. I'm trying to think how old the building is. I don't have my notes in front of me. I want to say 1926 is sticking in my head, but I'm not sure if that's correct or not. So we'll have that.
Time capsules are always fun, aren't they? To see what people think. To see what people think is important at the time. What did they think was important to put in there? You know.
Yeah. So it'll be nice. So we'll see what's in there. A couple more things we're going to work on. West Virginia, Ohio. West Virginia actually received failing grades from the American Lung Association on smoking across the board. I think D's and F's across the board for that. So we did talk to a spokesperson from the American Lung Association. We're going to talk to a local thoracic surgeon today about smoking, about what these grades mean. Ohio did a little bit better, not great, but a little bit better. So we're going to take those grades and see what that means to individuals when it comes to people's health. Obviously, Governor Justice comes on 2-3 times a week talking about the health situation where West Virginia is one of the most vulnerable when it comes to health, well, apparently we're not doing ourselves any favors when it comes to smoking. So we're going to follow up those numbers, take a look at that, and see where we go from here. So that's out there as well. So we'll be doing that. So we'll be doing that. What else we got today? State Auditor McCluskey is in town today. Part of a dilapidated building tour that he's putting together. Some legislation that he was involved in is out there. So we're going to take a look at that, see what that means to everyone. I'm kind of curious on what that means for the city of Wheeling. I know Councilperson Ketchum has been talking about that within her district, and I know other council people have been talking about that as well. So a lot of bringing down a lot of the dilapidated buildings. Sadly, a lot of the really nice old homes and the old buildings have just gone, have just deteriorated so bad that they have to go away, which is sad because Wheeling has one of the best diverse architecture in the air in 3 states. I really believe that. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll be working on that. Take care of your animals out in the cold. DK is going to be talking to a vet about that. And the homeless census, I believe, was actually yesterday. We're going to be talking to Lisa Badillo about that as well. So that's kind of what we're working on today.
And everybody should bundle up because it's a cold morning this morning.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be
a
little warmer today, but
your car may not start. You may be stuck at home and waiting for AAA to show up. Not that I'm speaking from, from being there or anything like that. Yeah. So right now I'm sitting here waiting on AAA to show up and take care of my battery. So it's a cold one out there.
So when you think about your car, think about Bob.
Yeah.
Remember to take care of things. All right, Bob, we'll look for the news at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show. Mark always has a lot to talk about during the legislative session. And folks who don't want to wait to watch it on TV can check the award-winning website or use the apps.
So we'll be following that tonight, too, State of the State.
Oh, that's right, State of the State tonight, yep. Okay.
7 o'clock.
Yep. All right, Bob, sounds good. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, guys, you have a stay warm.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
All right, thanks, guys.
It's harder for Biff because they don't have the heat turned on up there. But thanks, Bob. Talk to you later. What is it in your building, Biffy? What is it in your studio?
63 right now.
You got a feels like temperature there?
Minus 15.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's for today. I think that is it for the day, Biff. We'll try it again tomorrow morning. Good Lord willing, creeks don't rise. Bat phone doesn't ring. Don't get impeached. Don't retire. Ticker keeps on ticking. And most importantly, Teddy says, it's all right, Granddad. You can go back to work tomorrow. I shall return 7 o'clock and we'll go around to the big gig. Are you back with me, Biff?
I am here to close out the week.
We'll just keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From ABC News.
Okie dokie. Took care of. Yeah, another one in the books. Wasn't too bad. I don't have Pushkin confirmed tomorrow, but they asked if he could come on, and I told him yes. So I'm waiting to see what time that is. We'll have, I assume, we'll have McCabe. I don't know. He wasn't on last week, but I haven't talked to him all week, but I assume he'll be on tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'll find something else. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe I'll eat, take a nap, and that'll be the end of my day. I don't know. That may be it. Although I like your idea. If I have a chance, I'm going to go out and get a double cheeseburger and a fillet of fish. Put them together and see how they taste. Let's give it a try. All right. Everything okay other than the fact that it's cold? All right. We haven't had any problems since you rebooted Bridget. Hopefully that's, maybe it just needed a little rest. I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay. Okay. I'll have Joe take a look at it whenever he comes in. He's supposed to come in one night this week to start installing those barracks boxes. So I'll tell him to take a look at that Bridget when he does. He might be able to do the update. I don't know. All right. Well, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go find something to eat. The email, I usually get rid of it, but I've got it in my deleted file here. You need it? I got you. I got you. Okay. Yeah, you may have to start looking at the email instead of just looking at the. I was hoping we could do it the easy way, but maybe not. Okay, I deleted that once. I didn't think I needed it, but it's in my deleted file, so I'll have to find it and then I'll send it to you a little bit later on. Right. All right. Yep. All right, I'll find it and I'll send it to you, and you can double check it. Okay. All right, I'll be around if you need me. Just give me a buzz. Yep, talk to you later. Bye.
Bottom of the South China Sea, and the U.S. Navy is trying to beat China to the prize. The F-35 fighter jet cost about $100 million. An ABC News contributor, retired Marine Colonel Steve Ganyard, says another country, like China, could try to recover it first.
In the past, the U.S. and the CIA has pulled a Russian submarine up off the seafloor, and the Chinese have pulled a British submarine up off the seafloor. So going after somebody else's military equipment that has gone to the bottom of the ocean is not unprecedented.
The plane sank after it crashed trying to land on an aircraft carrier. GM says it's looking for tech support. The car company plans to hire more than 8,000 new technical staff this year as it ramps up development of electric vehicles and services driven by software. This is ABC News.
You probably wouldn't leave thousands of dollars on the table at a diner. Why leave thousands on the table with your tax return? Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you don't. This year, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help you track down every last one, so you get your biggest refund guaranteed. Don't leave thousands on the table this year. Discover thousands of dollars in tax credits instead. Check, please. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hey there, Dave Weekley here. Metro News Hotline presents what's trending in sports, music, movies, tech, television, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Renowned local and national guests pepper the daily lineup with authoritative insights and commentary on a wide variety of topics from West Virginia high school sports to the financial markets. Join the fun. Every day, Coop and I dip into irreverent discussions with calls, texts, tweets, the question of the day, and the always popular In or Out. Metro News Hotline, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies with a high near 32. The overnight low of 22 under partly cloudy skies. Going for your Friday, temperatures should climb into the low to mid-20s under mostly cloudy conditions. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning. Welcome to Talkline on the Metro News Radio Network.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia.
This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval. Check set lineup link. Activated telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown. Stand by. Q Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Luke Wiggs is our producer. Taylor Kennedy with a video stream you can watch at WVMetroNews.com. Phone number 1-800-765-8255. Text me 304-TALK-304. Let's get right to it. Please welcome United States Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia. Senator, good morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Hoppy. How you doing? You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I never felt that bad. I just felt like I had a cold, and because it was COVID, I stayed away. If it had not been COVID, I'd have worked through it, just like you would. I mean, so,
yeah.
You know? So I'm okay.
I think to some extent everybody will get some kind of a strain of that, just like that. It's like a flu type strain, I'm understanding. So, but it's still dangerous. You got to be very, very careful.
Yeah, I was careful. I just, I got it. I think I know where I got it.